So we're here overlooking Greystones Golf Club. And we're here with three of the stalwarts of the club. John Kinsella, George Bishop, and the great Bunty Hayden. Thanks for coming, lads. So we're just trying to get a feel for the club and the history of the club.
Yeah. Well, the first time I played here was the World Cup was going on 1966.
Yeah.
Come up on the bus with my brother and that. The only thing I remember, the captain of the club was the same as the captain of the English team.
Bobby Moore.
Yeah. And General Moore lived on the second house going down the laneway. Corfin.
Okay.
And they were the big noise.
And come here, who won that match?
You know the golf match? I lost 3 balls. And
they think it's all over. It is now.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah. So that was the first time you played golf?
That was the first time I ever played golf. No, I would have.
And were you a member then, or were you jumping over the fence?
Jesus, no. I wouldn't remember that. 7 and 6 for a green fee.
And where were you living?
I live in a Bray Bog Hall.
Right.
Just married.
Right.
Holidays. So we decided we'd come up and play. I would have played 2 or 3 times that year, and that would have been my first. And I forget. Mr. O'Reilly was behind the bar. Do you remember?
Jimmy O'Reilly.
And there was no one out in the course.
And why would you have come here rather than, say, go to Bray Golf Club?
It was easier to get out here.
From Bog Hall Road?
No, to get out.
Oh, sorry.
Bray would be in the evening time.
Yeah,
This would be 5 o'clock. Bray would be packed. Delgany would be packed, but there would be no one out.
Really?
Oh, there was no one playing.
Late 60s, they had a rule that the Saturday morning 4-ball couldn't go ahead. It was a sweep of a half a crown, and they couldn't go ahead without 12 players. And most Saturday mornings would be a panic to try and bring around to get the 10th, 11, 12 players for to have the 3 4-balls.
And was that by design? They didn't want more players?
Just the membership was so small.
No interest, or?
Yeah.
No, a sweep. Before there was competitions, it would always be a sweep. 4 or 5 lads would turn up, a half-crown sweep.
Yeah.
So you play. Now, you might shout to the next house, come on now, by the way, there's a sweep here.
Okay,
because
so
the
12th man arrived.
There was no such thing as a timesheet like that. You just went out and played as it was. That's the way.
And when did you join, George, then?
I didn't join until 77.
Okay.
I was in Delgany for 2 years as a 5-day, but I'd rather played here.
And did you join as a full member, an ordinary member? Here?
No, I
6
was
days?
only a year waiting. I had a bit of luck.
Yeah, you're saying that like it wasn't luck.
No, it had changed. There was 6-day, 5-day, and full.
Yeah.
And the year I joined, they got rid of the 5 or 6-day.
5 days.
And I went in, and I knew a few people.
Yeah.
And I just was lucky. Now, within 2 years of that, it was impossible to.
I remember hearing stories of that. When you get into 6 day and you're there for purgatory forever. Yeah.
George
I was
tried
in for 68, you know. So
George tried to get in as a clerical member. The priest got
Yeah.
in free of charge, and it
54 quid.
it burst up in it blew up in your face.
They say you'd say mass, all right.
Yeah.
Well, it said a lot
It
more.
was a rule. All the local priests were automatic members.
That's
when
right.
they arrived here. Yeah.
And your association goes way, way back in terms of your family. John.
1900.
1900.
First greenkeeper was my great uncle Willie,
Right.
affectionately known as the Premier.
Okay.
He was here from 1900 until 1945. And my dad came in under him in 25 and retired in 69 after 44 years.
My God. And you were a member at that stage?
I was a member at that stage, yeah. They gave me permission to play in 1958 when I was 10 because I was showing a bit of promise as a player.
Okay.
Then I got a letter in 1960 from the committee signed by K.W. Houghton to say that at the behest of the council or committee, I'm not sure which word it was at the time, that I would have permission to play on receipt of this letter, on production of this letter from my golf bag. I had to bring this letter with me.
But you weren't a member now,
No,
you were allowed to play.
that was 1958 and then 60. I played in a few boys' championships and stuff like that, but I came in as a full member in 68.
Okay.
25 quid. straight in the door. You're a full member, 25 quid. That was-
Lovely.
Yeah, and then got offered. I had spent 2 years, obviously in 1970, when the thing burst here. There was money went missing, and they advertised 30 life memberships at I believe 200, something like that, and they only got 27.
Okay.
And, I couldn't come up with 200 quid at that time. There was no chance.
So it was £200
£200
for life membership in 1970.
1970, yeah. When the club
That
went
was
broke
quite
to
good
the,
value.
27. They didn't get the 30.
didn't get to 30. There was a man here, a supplier here in the club, who wrote off his bill for the membership. And I believe there's only one left, one active member left.
Yes, there is,
Sean's
Sean,
the
yeah,
only one.
yeah,
He's the
yeah.
only one left of the
Yeah.
crew that took it up.
Is Sean Hines?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
a
Sean,
life
yeah.
member, yeah.
He's the
He's the
only
last
one.
man.
He's
Yeah.
the last man standing, yeah.
Yeah. And Bunty, you're here a long time too.
71?
Well,
I was lucky that I had a cousin on committee, a genuine Protestant. Which I was able to put in my. I said, "Will you propose me, Ozzy Spurling?"
Yeah.
He was on the committee.
Yeah.
So he couldn't refuse me, could he?
Yeah.
Ozzy, will you propose me to get into the club? 71.
I'd burn your house down.
And I was a full member in 73. So at that time it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, the 16, you'd have to go in 6 or 7 or 8 years. you
Yeah.
know. So I had a bit of pull.
Right. So there seems to be a theme here.
Huh?
A pulling team. Here.
Pulling power, yeah.
Well, it was the same all over.
Yeah, of course.
There was
yeah.
an old rule for a good member came here, he came straight in.
Yeah.
And that made sense. Of
course.
You know, that
Well, yeah, but yeah.
I probably hit my first golf ball here when I was maybe 3 years of age.
Wow.
Some lad coming over on the bar on my dad's bike from our cottage in the Grove,
Yeah.
and in across where the second green is now.
Yeah.
There was a gateway or a stile.
the style.
That we threw the bike across, came down. The tractor was kept down there. George unearthed some minutes from meetings from way back. That tractor arrived in 1935, a Fordson Major, and in the minutes of the meeting that George dug up from the fire,
What
I
was
think
it
it was.
called?
We said it was
Kinsel's tractor.
Kinsel's tractor, yeah. But
The
in the
only
minutes.
asset the club had when they bought.
In the minutes of the meeting, it said that Kinsella would get a half day on a Wednesday to learn to drive the new tractor.
No way.
Yes, that was it. Get a half
And
day.
I remember you saying to me one stage, John, that there were sheep on the course. Up in recent, relatively recent.
62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was to cut the grass, basically.
Yes, it was to save because of the.
Well, they
the,
couldn't
the,
find the guy that had a contract. I believe.
the Evans family were the people who had the sheep on the place. There was 200 sheep on it at one stage, I believe.
So they had a contract to have them.
Well,
here.
that would be a
Yeah.
natural thing.
Yeah.
Because the Evans owned the field when the first course opened, where the second and third, that wasn't there for about 7 years. But the Evans' farm was down where
Okay.
Super Value is. So if you look back to the minutes, the first course was only as far as the bell hole. But the new
So the bell
one
hole
then-
is now our current first.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
on the left
yeah.
of
Yeah.
it first, yeah.
Well, you can
Practice
straight up
area,
the
yeah.
hill,
Yeah.
but they didn't have the second and third in it for about 7 years.
Okay, the current second
Yeah,
and third.
yeah.
Okay, so it was a funny shape. the course
Well,
there.
it was a
Yeah.
very short.
Yeah.
The first hole was a double hole. Pat Royal had all the stuff on.
And the first hole was double hole, that the par 4 up.
No. The first hole was the old 18th, and there was a tee box in where Nicky Bean's garden is. They played onto the.
So,
Yeah, you did.
so the first time I would have been here was in the 90s. And I remember the first hole, the old Pavilion Clubhouse, which we'll come to in a minute.
Yeah.
But you'd play from there straight out towards Witchhead Road,
Yeah.
a short
yeah,
par
yeah.
4. So that's the first you're talking about.
No.
Before that, okay.
That was the first after that, but the old 18th was straight down
yeah,
the hill.
that's right, yeah.
But the course was very small. They didn't have the 2 hour fields.
And it was connected to the hotel in the town somehow, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was
The Latouche?
No, was it? I thought it was
The Grand.
Grand.
The Grand.
Yeah.
It's still in the
Davies
minutes.
was on it.
Is the Grand Hotel? Is that the Burnaby?
No, the Latouche. We're the Latouche.
Okay,
that was the
okay.
Grand Hotel. But we did every year. We had a representative, at the AGM. there was always a representative of
Three,
the hotel.
up to well into the 70s.
Yeah, they were voting
Part
on,
of the,
yeah.
and they had voting power. They were part of the committee,
Okay.
representative. Now, in fairness to them, when they got into financial trouble, I believe they gave them a lot of,
Help.
yeah. They were a big hotel.
Okay. And just going back then to the clubhouse,
Cricket, I believe.
Yeah.
the cricket pavilion,
Cricket
yeah.
came from the Isle of Man.
So I would only have been in it maybe just at a nod's function. Michael Harwood, brother-in-law, obviously a member here, and he would have been there as a guest to him, but hadn't joined. But that was quaint. It was
Lovely.
nice.
It was
Nice
beautiful.
atmosphere, yeah.
Beautiful thing.
Well,
it was when you
There
drove
was
in
lovely
the
bar
gate.
in it.
Yeah.
When you drove in the gate, it was an imposing.
Gorgeous, yeah,
It was beautiful, framed up on the hill. It looked over. It was
Where did
beautiful.
that come from?
Came from the Isle of Man.
Right.
There was two of them, I believe, that were dismantled. They weren't being used anymore as, I believe they were both cricket pavilions, and they came on a ship, and one became the clubhouse in Bray Tennis Club.
Okay.
For years, it was there.
Wow,
The same,
okay.
the same sort of came in sections.
So they were second-hand, sorry.
Yeah,
they were-
second-hand.
Okay, right, okay, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
That was the story. That was the story, as far as I know about them. But going back to the sheep on the golf course, all the greens had an electric fence around them. And if you managed to touch your steel shaft of putter going onto the green, there was no chance you were going to hold a shot.
Yeah.
Because you had.
I presume you didn't have to step over, did you?
Oh, you had to step over.
Okay,
it,
it could have been
yeah.
worse.
But
Yeah,
it was only
It was only
18
very low.
18
Yeah,
inches.
yeah.
It was just to catch the sheep and just
Yeah.
keep them off the greens. That was it.
Yeah.
But there was a great story told. I don't know. You edit this out maybe, but great story told about two gentlemen that we mentioned earlier. Both ex-British Army men, stuff like that, but they were drawn together in a match play situation.
Right.
And it was coming to the time of the year for sheep shearing.
Okay.
And before the sheep were sheared, they got very dirty at the back end.
Yeah.
They got very messy and they were brought in for a thing called dagging,
Yeah.
which was to cut all that stuff away and get ready for the fleece.
Yeah.
And these gentlemen were playing number 15, which is the second now back the other way around. But they were coming up 15, the match was fairly tight anyway. So one of them hit their second shot, and there was a yo or a you or whatever you want to call her. She had her back to the gentleman, and the ball lodged in this sort of messy back department, and she ran towards the 15 green, where the ball dislodged and stayed on the side of the green. I don't know the end of the story. I don't know the ruling, but that's an actual story.
Okay,
from way
okay.
back, those two.
Lift clean and drop.
Well,
Clean carefully.
well, don't leak it anyway. But that was a story that came out of the sheep.
But it was awkward then. You know, with all I caddied, and there were sheep out there. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
God, yes. You're 3 and 6, and you
So
get.
what age would you have been caddying here then?
Oh, I would have been around 10.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You'd be on 3 and 6, and then the
You're
caddy
doing well.
master.
You're doing well.
Coffee. Was it
$1
3 and 6?
and
Was it?
$1.
Was it 3 and 6? or
Yeah,
2 and
you
6?
were always
Oh,
posh.
hold on a minute. I had to make sure to
His
have.
Protestant friends.
You had to have
yeah,
trumpets.
yeah.
You had to have
That's
trumpets
because
for
your
the caddy
cousin was a
master.
Protestant.
Yeah. But I'll tell you seriously though, with the sheep, all that, it was messy out there on the fairways. You know,
Okay.
you had to be walking.
But they
Oh,
didn't
there
have
was.
to cut the grass. You see, it was.
Oh, you
it
understand?
worked out
I'm
well.
talking about sheep droppings.
But
That
they were
was
still
messy.
good. I mean, my father, the bane of my father's life was he had a grape coat. He had a couple of great coats, or I think they were army coats that
Yeah.
he got from somebody, and the sheep torture was coming up out of the gangmore and
Yeah.
flying all over the place and sticking to going back of his neck and on his coat. And my mother, God bless her, had to go home and scrape it off with a scraper or something like that to get him ready for the next day. Yeah, it was something, and there's that tractor that was housed down at the second green now. It was a TVO. It was a mix of the stuff that went into it, and there was a great man. He's still around here, Herbie Hill. He was an apprentice mechanic down in Watson and Johnson Square
Okay.
who sold it to the club, and there was times when this thing wouldn't start. It was a handle,
Wow.
a kick handle, and Herbie, as a young man, had to come up and clean it out and bleed it and whatever, and then get it going. And you had to, the shed that was in, when it started, you ran because there was black smoke coming out of that like there was no tomorrow. It was a serious piece of equipment, massive machine, all steel wheels. It was like a steamroller.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a massive.
And the so when the clubhouse burnt down, that was in
88.
1988. And then this opened in 92. Okay, so 4 years. So that 4 years, what happened for those 4 years?
Porta cabins
The
and
place wasn't burnt down.
Yeah.
Okay.
They poured the cabin outside and it was still in use.
Okay. And then, at that stage, we were 18 holes. So
Yeah.
this house was vacant, was it?
Vacant. Yeah.
But they had bought it before that. They had it. It was here. They bought it sometime in the late 70s.
Okay.
So they had a guy, Manliffe used to mine it, or
Man of Barnington.
the old lad. It was just to stop someone burning it down.
Okay.
But when the
Should
place
have
went on
sent
fire,
them down to the pavilion.
yeah. No, but it worked out very well because it was an ugly house.
Okay.
It was just a stone house outside, but the crowd did a great job on it. If
Okay.
you look at it, they were
But they
brilliant.
didn't own this part of the land here.
I know.
They,
Des
didn't, they only
Guilfoyle
rented
bought
this part of the land.
No, Des Guilfoyle was treasurer when we bought this.
Yeah, but who bought this land?
The club bought it.
Yeah, but it was
Clubhouse.
Pat
Pat
Mahon.
Pat Mahon was involved.
Oh no, that was yeah.
Yeah, he
No, that was in
Delia Roach Kelly's husband.
that was
They
in
had him.
'77. That was
Yeah.
No, they didn't buy this.
developer,
This
is it?
was
Yeah.
this
No,
was 10
but
years
they
later.
didn't have the land. They were renting that
Oh
land.
no, they rented all the course.
Yeah.
Up to '77, the only thing they owned was Kinsella's
Tractor.
tractor. Seriously,
And okay.
there was no.
So who did they buy the land off then?
Gallagher's.
And he had the front and back nine, Gallagher, did he?
No, Gallagher Roach Kelly was married
Yeah.
to Gallagher's
That's right,
daughter.
yeah.
Delia.
They bought it as
Delia
builders. They
Roach,
bought
yeah.
the tennis or the rugby club and the
Okay.
Gaelic club. They bought the whole place.
Okay.
And Pat Mann did the deal with
I remember
Gallagher for 50, I think it was 57,000.
I remember driving from, we were playing an All-Ireland final, a mixed final in Belfast, and Seven saying, and we came back home and we gave Nuala and Pat a lift home. And they told me the story about that.
Yeah.
Now that's a story and a half.
It was good, yeah. Yeah, that
That
was that.
was
Yeah.
just
Delia
incredible.
never forgave him, the husband for that.
Yeah.
That was a no-no.
So anyway, hopefully,
But there was a lease on
hopefully, yeah, we get Nuala in, and maybe we'll hear some of that story from Nuala.
No, but they couldn't have done anything with it. There was a 100 years lease that would have went to 95.
Okay.
So they couldn't have done anything because when it was, Woodbrook had it as well. I think Woodbrook is still owned by,
Cancer and Cochran, is it?
yeah. So when the lease was up, the judge would always give it to them. They were never going to take it off the club.
Okay.
But the club got it for, like, it was the price of a site for a
And
house.
so, and they would have, so the club at that stage when Pat was involved, they would have bought the back nine, or were they the
No,
front?
they bought everything.
So they owned the
bought,
front
they
line as
bought
well?
down where Super Value, or what do you call it, Tesco's.
Okay.
All that was part of the Gallagher. They built the houses down there.
Okay.
And they built the crosshair where Burnaby Lawns.
So their plan obviously would have been to buy this and maybe develop this for housing
Yeah.
or whatever at the time.
No,
Yeah.
the land with this was the Burnaby house, and there were so many 100 acres thing.
Wow.
The golf at that time was 100 acres. So there was a lot more land.
There was something else I was going to ask you about, George, and I remember you saying to me one day, which actually put the idea for this into our heads. We were talking about cups and things that we play for in the club, and we play for the Frank Talbot, or we play for the Carrington, or various cups. But I suppose it's been lost in time as to what they actually are and who those people were. So we know, okay, very sadly we lost Danny when he was captain. We have the Danny Memorial, the first medal every year. But we have other people who passed away in office as well.
Frank Talbot.
The Frank Talbot, for example, yeah.
Well, the year before, there was never a four-ball here.
Okay.
And the year before Frank died, Pat Mann was the captain.
Okay.
And Shawnee put in the first four-ball.
Okay.
And Pat Mann was the captain. And we were doing the cards, and he pre-booked himself in one of the places.
Pat did.
Yes, when we were doing the cards, he said, no, there's only 15 going in, because he had booked them. And who was the 16th that lost out?
Go on.
Liam Redmond.
Oh, Jake, man.
He wrote to the Golfing Union.
There's a surprise.
Yeah. So he died that year, the
Yeah.
captain, and he changed immediately over.
That was
They were
18.
calling it the Matt Talbot for a while now.
Okay.
No, he died He died in 83. He died in the year he was in.
He died in
And I
office,
think-
yeah.
And within the next year they had it going. Because there was no football. It's amazing that.
And he died at the end of his time, at the end of his year, didn't he?
Nearly.
He wouldn't.
I thought
He
he
wouldn't
finished
have
out.
the operation.
He delayed a bypass.
Oh, he was still captain. He died in his year.
Died in office.
Yeah,
Put a bypass off for several months. And he said he got it done at the end of his captaincy.
Yeah.
He didn't make
Yeah,
it.
he was a nice
Good
guy.
guy,
Sad,
yeah.
And Carrington.
Well, that was Carr and Robinson. There was two
Okay.
guys. And the monk.
And they were members here.
Yeah, two guys just got together and pulled it because we were playing. Someone said, well, that was they remember the guys then.
Okay.
You know, the Fraser Cup that's
Okay.
played for the,
Yeah. In the
that's in the
captaincy,
captaincy.
Yeah.
That was Fraser from, what was the house Hugo bought?
The
tunnel,
tunnel, yeah.
He was a Scottish guy. He was captain here. They put up there was the Tyler Cup.
Who was tired?
They were shocked. They were shooting
Oh,
people in the brain.
okay.
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
there's an ad in one
That's
of these
right. Yeah.
yearbooks.
They
for
were
Tyler's,
huge. They were all over the city.
Yeah.
But that's still played for, isn't it? I think
It
that's
is, yeah,
for the
yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
What else was there?
The Barton?
No, well, the Barton is the golf
That's
union
outside,
one.
that's outside.
Yeah.
The Glenavy. He was Lord Glenavy.
Lord Navy. He was the president here, was he? One of the
Well,
early
he
presidents?
was. His son was the other guy off Call My Bluff beyond it.
Really?
Well, that's who the hole is called after.
Campbell.
His son was a member here,
Okay.
and well into the 50s.
That was the one with the stammer, was it? Campbell?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was supposed to have got to the semi-final of the Amateur Open, playing off 12.
No way.
Yeah, it's written in one of the books, I'd say.
drove-
But his father, before him, he was made Lord Glenavy by Bonar Law.
So he was a member here,
Yeah.
and he was prime minister, was he, or a minister?
No,
A
his
minister?
friend was Prime Minister, and he made him Lord Glenavy. His house in Milltown was. We still play for the Glenavy Cup.
Wow.
It's the Lord Glenavy.
But
And
Bonar,
he was minister in the first government.
Sorry, who was? Who was the minister?
Campbell.
Okay.
But he was Lord
Okay.
Glenavy. That's what
He was famous here for driving the 13th hole regularly. He was a big hitter up on the shelf.
Remember the old 13th?
Which one was that? The one up the hill?
Yeah, it's still called. I think
I
the
hope-
third is called Campbell's now. Well, that was.
Okay.
Well, he was the son of the original guy that was.
Wow.
I have a painting of that hole from the tee. If I thought it was going to go up somewhere, it's small now. It's only 18 inches by 12.
Yeah.
But it's a nice picture of it.
Yeah.
My golf bag. It was a
That was an
photograph.
interesting hole, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was
Oh,
great.
yeah,
It was a lovely hole.
You left your bag there and you walked down. isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
No, they were only
Four
allowed.
the
Yeah,
top.
and then you go down, yeah.
They
Then
were
the
only
houses
allowed
came
to
in.
put 2 holes on it when they got the land. And for
The
30
Tesco
years
land.
they played, and some guy decided then to get an opening, put it up the hill. It's all written.
Okay.
That's all in books here
Yeah.
that I read.
Yeah.
And it was 1902 they bought the land, but they didn't put the hole on top of the hill till the 30s.
Okay.
That was Campbell's.
Okay.
So Campbell would have played. I think Campbell played there well into the 50s.
And was the other when you played that hole then you played then down towards Tesco that
Yeah.
way out of a
Yeah.
cutting. Sorry, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You sort
yeah,
of
that
played
was
over
good
all the
hole.
goals.
They
That
were
was a
telling
tough hole.
They
14,
brought-
15 were 2 great golf
When the
balls.
houses were built, that became dangerous from the top tee.
I can imagine.
And then they brought the tee box down onto the flat. In the cutting behind the 6th green now, that's where the tee came to.
Okay.
They brought it down there.
Well,
for
she
safety.
was above that.
It was way
yeah.
above, and
Yeah,
the
it was
houses were
above
getting
that.
it.
It was
There
a
was-
much better hole down the bottom.
Yes, we had a lawsuit against a person that was hit down there with a golf ball, lady hanging out watching or something. There was something happening.
That was the houses straight gave you
straight
or
down.
lost it to the right.
Where Danny used to live down there.
Yeah,
Danny would have been
There
down
was a
there.
couple of lawsuits. There was another one on 15. Several years we lost a lot of money in that to a lady that was hit on the roadway coming up 15.
And the redesign of the club then, going back, the club was it 95, the back 9 that was redesigned, or the front 9, which was it?
Paddy Merrigan done the
Merrigan?
Yeah. He done the new 9.
Yeah.
I remember we used to play off just a short into the practice area here.
Yeah.
At one stage.
Yeah, one stage.
Yeah, when it was being built,
well,
yeah.
it was mooted for, it's been mooted here for many, many years that to have the 18th at the clubhouse was an ideal scenario.
Yeah.
And there was different scenarios.
I remember trying it.
Way back.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
way back. And it was deemed to be, it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
It was too, with
Balls-
the cars
balls
here
going
and all
into
that
the
kind
pro
of stuff.
shop
But,
and- yeah,
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
have an 18th green just there,
Yeah.
an elevated green with a couple of
Perfect.
bows,
You look at it
absolutely.
now.
You
Yeah,
could, and then the veranda outside, and you're there
Yeah,
with a cup
yeah,
of
of
coffee
course,
in
yeah,
the evening,
yeah.
looking at what's going on. It would have been beautiful, but everything just fell away. It was muted. But I mean, going back to the property end of it, I think it was in the 50s. It was definitely in the 50s, George, where where all the houses are now, hillside.
Yeah.
All that area that came on the market for £5,000.
Boy,
Wouldn't buy. Yeah, didn't buy it.
Nullamore, the big house coming in.
Yeah.
They were offered that for something like $8,000. They were going to put the clubhouse there, but members wouldn't.
And when
buy
you,
it.
if you think now the impact
Oh.
that decision has had on where we are today in terms of
Joe Locke bought it.
See,
Joe Locke
that's
bought it.
right.
Yeah, he bought
Yeah.
that.
We're
house
smothered
then, yeah.
here with 105 acres. That's all we play on.
I remember reading in one of the books. I can't remember which book it was about. It was a description of the course, and it described the first short par 4, the second, and they described playing the second, which would have been up the 9th now in effect,
right,
but
yeah.
around playing to the 7th tee box was in the green area, if I remember
Yeah,
rightly.
that's right, yeah.
And they described the second shot, a carefully aimed second shot over the roof of the house. Can you imagine putting that
Well, they
in
had a
writing?
rule here. You were out of bounds in the air.
They brought in a rule.
This is
that
very
they put
good.
A pole
Yeah,
up,
this is very good.
They put a pole up on the corner.
Right.
And anyone who went inside the left of that going for the green, it was deemed to be out of bounds. And it was
That's
at
an
a-
interesting,
I was
yeah.
on council at the time,
Yeah.
and it came up for discussion
Yeah.
and all that. And I played regularly with one of the best players ever here, Oliver Frawley.
Oh, no, Oliver, great, yeah. Don't talk to my Bob.
Who just went, up to the top of the hill and hit 5 iron, drew it all the time. He was a one-shot pony.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't cut the ball for nuts, but he drew it all
Great
the time.
player, though.
Oh, great player. And I'm going to tell Oliver Frawley that he has a 12-foot putt for an eagle, and I'm going to say you were out of bounds. So I don't fancy trying to take a 5 iron out of my forehead.
It did go to the golf
But
and
it
union.
did. It did.
It was a local rule.
Yeah.
But if you were playing a match, you couldn't.
You couldn't do
call
that.
it.
No,
It
no,
was
no,
it was a
no.
pity.
No.
But then they were paying $2,000 to the house
Every
for
year.
to get the roof.
But you're
the
seeing
roof
me- seeing
and
me-
you used to put a plastic roof on it.
But I heard that the bill would come in from
Yeah,
Joseph
yeah,
Locke,
it was just
and it
paid.
was just paid. Don't even discuss. Don't look at it. Just pay it. Yeah.
You know who I won't mention the builder, but he did well.
He did
The lad was working said, why don't you put a proper roof on it? He says, and do myself,
He's
"Oh,
not going to
good
mention
thing."
Eric Archer now. You're going to mention Eric Archer. So you
Come here,
won't.
come
No,
here.
don't mention Eric
He's in the
Archer.
photograph there, yeah.
That's Eric Archer.
That's
Yeah.
right there at the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who the other
Eric,
gentleman
Eric
is.
was never a member.
Never.
Was he not?
No. Great gentleman.
Because I said to his son's played at Medelkin.
Yeah.
I said, why didn't you join here? Your old man. He was never a member. But he did all the maintenance.
Oh, he was a
Yeah.
character. He was a gentleman.
He was a gentleman. He was no gentleman.
Yeah. One of many, I'm sure, over the years.
Yeah. But
He was very much involved
he'd,
in all the local sports clubs. I mean, he's involved in the rugby club, Gaelic club, soccer club,
Yeah.
everything he was involved in. He was just
Guy Adler said with the ease in the kitchen door and the flashing on the roof, he'd an income for the whole year on them.
George uncovered a bill from Eric from the golf club
Right.
for some glass and a few bits and pieces. And it was the most beautifully handwritten invoice you've ever seen. It was all done and at the
Toing and froing.
of ladders, £2.
Toing and
throwing
froing
of
of
ladders,
ladders.
£2.
Erection and thing of ladders. But when you got down to the end, he put in a pane of glass.
It was, but it was the
Aye,
most
it was a
beautifully
great
written.
character.
I used to take a bet off him now and again. I was in the betting business.
I always thought he was a member because he was always involved.
Yeah.
I was here a lot.
He was.
Character.
Do you remember him, do you?
I remember the Archers glass were always sponsors. I remember the old skull
That's
cards.
right, that's
they
right,
had.
yeah.
I remember the Hungry Monk and Archers were the two that I remember. As
Lovely people.
Yeah.
They owned the mill, they call it.
Nice, they were nice Protestants, George.
I know, early.
I know, hold on.
Early
There's a couple of good ones as well.
Early was a great character.
Listen, lads, I think we'll wrap it up on
Yeah,
that.
certainly.
Thank you so much. That was very
Wasn't an awful-
interesting.
Wasn't an awful lot of information there, wasn't it? You
Very
already
little.
know.
Very, very little, really. Quite disappointing, lads. But anyway,
No blame.
no, listen,
Oh, it's
thanks a million. That was
important.
brilliant. That was fantastic.
I know, but